So that's what we've been talking about, is making music. Making music. And making music, like we said, is taking the good notes and separating, saying, I want the good notes, and I'm leaving the bad notes. And I'm choosing to elevate. And we spoke about some of the power of music, of how powerful music is, that it goes all the way in, it goes in deep. And therefore, if you have voices in your head, I don't mean like Morgan Freeman, I mean voices like our cousins that are saying things, maybe doubts, maybe, what's it really all about? What am I really accomplishing? What am I really doing here? Those voices, you don't really know, but that could be from, listening to all sorts of music and all sorts of influences. And there's a reason why you also listen to those things as well. Now, you have to find the nugget, find what's the kernel, what's the good inside of that. But on a simple level, you have to be careful. If all sorts of music was put into the system from early age. I was speaking to a guy this morning. He was telling me about spending time with his father when he was very, very young. He remembers his father was always a morning guy and would wake up very early, and he would always have a starker cup of coffee in the morning. It was like his thing. A good stark cup of coffee. And he told me, my father's a big coffee guy. And that was his time that he would sit with his coffee and he would steig a little bit and learn. And then he would talk to me. And he was saying to me today, I remember so much. I thought then nothing was, going in. But I remember those conversations when Tati was having his coffee and I was like a little, pisher. And he would tell me things and talk to me. And I said, things go in. Things really go in. Things are deep. Conversations are real. Things go in. It's amazing that they really do. They're making a big difference. So like we mentioned yesterday, that music really goes in. Especially a person who listens to a lot of music. You have to think, okay, what did I just ingest? What did I just take into my system that maybe I need to think about? That maybe there's confusion, maybe there's things going into my mind, or values, or hashkafas, or ways of looking at the world that are other than the most true. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're old influences that need to be worked on and uprooted and looked at and examined. A great way to do that is to add positive music. Positive music creates a space where it pushes away lower vibrational music. And there's always tikkun klali, great idea. And the mikvah's good. If your mikvah's open and it's safe to go, then jumping in the mikvah is a great option to cleanse. The mikvah has a way of just washing over a person's neshama, dip after dip, every single time, and it washes away the lower vibrations. The same way when you have a dirty shirt and you put it into the water, the external dirt and dust dissolves off of the clean shirt, and it comes out and emerges clean. So too the neshama, when you emerge, when you put it into that mikvah, the mikvah is just a spiritual concept that you're washing it. And you might have some gold or silver or diamond, and it gets dirty. And you put it up to give it to someone that you love, and it doesn't look so impressive, some muddy diamond. And they say, it's not so nice, it's not such a nice gift. And so what do you mean, it's a diamond? No, it's just a bunch of mud. But if you wash it off, you see what's really there. It's always been a diamond. It was a beautiful gift, but you didn't see it. Your neshama is the greatest gift there is. Is there any greater gift than your neshama? Is there any greater gift than your neshama? The only thing is that we go through the world, and the world has a way of putting a little bit of mud, a little bit of distraction, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of, too much wild stuff, too much craziness, too much confusion, and unkosher food doesn't help this either. It makes these shells and it covers over the neshama. So the neshama is good. Elakai neshama shenosate b'tahirei. The neshama is totally pure. It's just that we need to wash it now. and to wash it. The mikveh is that washing. It washes it. That's the idea. Just going in. The mikveh is also like a womb. You're going back into the womb, to that water medium, to that place that, just like the child has not done anything wrong. The child is born, he's a tzaddik. So too, when you go back into the mikveh, you go into the womb. You're coming, you're like Katina Kanoila Dami, you're coming out like a new person. You're fresh, a new person. Now nowadays we need to become a new person every day. So much happens, it feels like every single day we're being bombarded with so much that we just need to continue to cleanse and continue to stay pure and continue to get back to that point of who we really are. So you might ask me, well then why do the tzaddikim need to go to the mikveh? You know, they seem to go to the mikveh more than anybody. They don't have any schmutz on them. They're great and righteous people. Why are they jumping into the mikveh? What do you mean? They don't need to return to home base. There's no mud on them. The answer is, once all the mud is off, you think what's there is all there is? In your own soul, you could go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and infinitely deep. In your own neshama. Could there be anything more beautiful? That's why Shabbos comes from the root of tshuva, of returning. On Shabbos, it's not tshuva. You're not doing tshuva. You're not repenting on Shabbos. Tshuva means I'm going deeper. I'm returning more and deeper into who I am. The deepest, deepest place. I'm coming back to who I am. Like a person who's feeling lost. We all know the feeling if you've ever been lost in, an amusement park, or if you've ever been in a department store and you can't find your mommy. It's very scary, right? You just want to be back with your mommy. You feel lost. You lose. I don't know where I am. It's a dark night before GPS existed, and you're lost. It's scary. Now that's just being lost physically. How much more scary to be lost spiritually? People are lost. They don't know. They're just kind of going around the world. But when everything becomes quiet, nowadays things are so fast that people don't have to feel. They don't know what it feels like to feel lost because they're just. But all of a sudden, when something stops, that's why during this period now, people had a lot of anxiety and depression. Hashem should help us all. There was a feeling of just stopping. And people don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? All of a sudden, you're confronted with actually being lost. Very few people actually sit and think anymore. And I'll explain. If you ever see a person sitting on a park bench, when I was growing up, it was a very normal thing. A person would just be sitting there on a park bench, Central Park, the sun is shining down, taking a deep breath. Just enjoying the sensation of the sun on his face, thinking about life, thinking about his wife, his kids, just taking a moment to reflect on Hashem's beauty, and just to take in life. Tov l'hodos l'Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. And nowadays, if you go to Central Park and you see a man sitting on a bench, and he's not talking on the phone or two phones with a headpiece. While his beeper's beeping, or with earphones, with buds in, or he's not reading a book, or he's not doing checking this thing on his watch. Or he's not talking to somebody, he's just sitting. And you're walking with your kids through the park, and you walk by this man, and maybe even nods to you, gives you a nice little, just a gentle, sweet little nod, acknowledgement, maybe a little smile. You very decisively look at your children and you say, kids, run. This guy's nuts. We better get out of here. He's probably crazy. And it could be that he is. I'm not denying that. I would probably tell my kids he's crazy. But is he really crazy? Let's say he's not a crazy man. But why do we think he's crazy? Because why aren't you doing something, man? Why aren't you checking the latest thing? There's no problem with having a phone. No problem with checking things. But all of a sudden, when things stop and you don't have something to do, we get very nervous. Like, why do we get so nervous? This happens all the time. Your chavrusa gets up for 1 second. You're learning. Oh, you got up? Why? You're learning Torah. All of a sudden, it's like a moment of lull in the conversation. What do we do now? Okay. I feel calm. Why? Is it okay to just be with yourself? We have a hard time being with ourselves because we're not used to it. And the answer is because there's a lot there. It's intense. And we prefer to stay distracted. There's no problem with looking on and checking all your stuff and checking all your emails and answering as you should. You need to be very productive in this world. But if we don't also have time that we could just stop and reflect and take stock of life, of Hashem, then it means that there's something troublesome. A lot of guys have a hard time being by themselves. Just to be by yourself, it's okay. You know, there's a midah, there's a quality. There's a lot of qualities that we're going to work on together over the years. We know many of the main ones to be abal chesed, to have chesed, to be kind, to be powerful when need be, and strict when need be, to be someone who's patient. All these qualities, these midot. There's another midah that's less known. It's the midah called livado, to be somebody who can be alone. Now, all the midas, why do we want to have all these good midas of being kind and patient? Because Hashem is kind, Hashem is patient. So the way that we attach ourselves to Hashem is through His midas, being like Hashem. Mahu rachum, just like He's compassionate, you should be compassionate. What's Hashem's almost most quintessential midah? Hashem is alone. Ein oid malvadai. That's very Hashem-like, right? To be by Himself. Because is there anything else really? So when you can learn to be livado, you're deeply connecting to Hashem. This is something Yaakov Avinu did when it says Vayivaser Yaakov livado, and Yaakov was left by himself. He went back for the Pachim Ketanim to get the little vessels. We'll speak about this more Chanukah time. To be by yourself, to learn to be what's called livado. And these are qualities we're going to build. We're going to build together. And the mikvah is a way that I start to cleanse off all the external things. And I essentially get back to the good. I get back to the good. That's what Rebbe Nachman is saying. Says the Rebbe, a Jew does not let himself fall, and all of humanity. He gives himself life. He's searching. He's yearning. I want to find all the good in me. I'm going to the mikveh. I'm cleansing, getting to more good, more dips, more tikkun klali, more reflection on the person that I really am, more levado, who I am, more good. He's gathering all the good together. He's focusing on the good inside of him. Umelaket. And then he's getting more, pulling more together. Umevarer. And he even refines it more and more, like we're going to talk about later today about gold. He's refining, making more good, showing that there's more good, digging deeper, more good, digging, find. By the way, everyone knows when you want to find treasure, you got to dig for buried treasure. It's such an analogy that's so deep inside of our psyche. The digging for buried treasure, looking for the gold. And then you find more and more. And you find these nekudas tevus, mitoich hara, even though you see that there's impurities inside of you. But I look in the impurity, I say, there's good hiding there, there's good hiding there, there's good. And I keep finding more and more good in myself and other people, my wife and my kids, my family, my parents, everybody. Humanity, creation, more good. And I'm seeing it with the good eye, with the right eye. And by doing this, you make music, like we mentioned before. The music is because you're pulling all the good notes. You're starting to make symphonies. Your whole life is you're creating these spiritual symphonies. You have a hard time hearing that here. That every time that you pick out, don't they have these games like Rockstar? Isn't that like an app or something? Didn't they have a really popular one?
Yeah.
Because it's called Rockstar?
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, right? That you're the man, right? And you make like this music, right? There's something called Guitar Hero in Shemayim. There's the ultimate Guitar Hero. And that's the one, you don't realize down here, but every time that you find good, you're pulling good, you're creating this cosmic Guitar Hero up in the sky. And this is quite a nap, I'll tell you that much. This huge Guitar Hero in the sky that you are creating the biggest symphony of music, the biggest music video, the most beautiful symphony of all the good that you've ever found in yourself and others. And everyone's going to see different shades of good. Everyone's going to see different qualities. And everyone's going to be making their own symphony. And you're going to be enjoying this music with trillion-part harmonies. That's just the beginning. Just in the first second of the first 4 bars. Beyond. Googleplex. Harmonies of all the good that you've been focusing on throughout your life. Those are the nigunim, you're making music. When you start finding good, you become somebody who can daven more. Because what's davening? Davening is song. Pesuke de zimra. To be mizamer. Zimra means music. Music. I'm singing to you, Hashem. Davening should sound much more like a symphony than a library at Oxford University. Shh. Shmon Esrei should sound like Oxford University. But everything else should be lebedik. Beautiful, gorgeous, loud, beautiful. Symphony is loud, right? It's happening. Go to a symphony, it's beautiful. It's happening. That's davening. Definitely Pesukah de Zimra. It should be happening. And to the degree that a person finds the good, he's going to be a symphonic human being. He's going to be somebody that sings and wants to daven. But a person who doesn't focus on good has a very hard time davening. Hashem should help. Ki zeh yedua. It's a known thing. When a person falls, machmas gashmius u'maisim aroim, when a person gets involved in the world of gashmius for its own sake, he just starts going out and eating all sorts of, fancy steaks every night and just living that, yacht club gashmius life for its own sake. There's nothing problem with going to the yacht club as long as it's kosher. And he starts drifting a little bit and feeling far. He starts feeling far. The first thing that goes in a guy, I see this all the time. He goes to university, I was in the frat clubs. Like, yo, bro, new recruit, fresh meat. Let's get this guy in the frat. Yeah, bro, you want to join? What's it going to cost me? Your soul? But what do I get? Beer. Okay, beer. Okay, yeah, great call on that one. Yeah, be a part of this and, it's going to be great. And toga parties. Okay, yeah, great, for the soul. And he gets involved, and he's trying to hold on, because there is good things, the camaraderie and the connections and business connections. There are good things that you can pull off, and there are some good friends. But the idea of he's starting to get less connected, he's starting to get more involved in the beer and the toga parties. The first thing that goes is davening. He might still go to a weekly chavrusa, he might still put on his tefillin, he might still have his kippah on under his Yankee hat, or his MAGA hat. But what really starts to go is tefillah. It's tefillah. Davening. But when we raise ourselves up to the next level, we hold on to davening. Find the good all the time. When he gets down, he has a hard time opening his mouth. He can open his mouth to put more beer in. He has a hard time. He looks at his siddur and he's just like, I Sometimes guys find this. They're trying to hold on. They go to the States. They go wherever. They're out of yeshiva a little bit. And in yeshiva, they were excited. But now it's like they look at their art scroll and it's just... it's hard to get out the words. Because the world out there, what we call the Olam HaSheker, it says in the Zohar, the world of lies, of falsehood, tries to convince you that you're not a davening person, that that's not who you are. It tries to pull you into this world for its own sake. So it's hard to open your mouth to daven. Aval, Rebbe Nachman says, don't give up, Rabbi Eade. When you start to remember what we were talking about, always thinking about the good in yourself, always focusing on the good, go back to the good all the time, look at the good, find the good inside of you, more good, look at the good in your roommate, the good in your chavrusa, the good in your professor, all the good, you're finding the good, you're always focusing on the good. He knows that I've got a lot of bad things that I've been doing, but I'm still finding the good. I'm still looking for the good. I have to tell you, Mamash Amaisa, oh my goodness, I know it's late. It was a Yid today. This is so holy. It was a Yid today. He told me, he said, Rebbe, things were going on a little while ago. I was involved in, buying drugs, selling whatever. Okay, make a long story short. He said, and there was a guy that I got some stuff from, and I Venmo'd him, what it cost, the money. He said, I got a message from the guy, from the dealer, that he WhatsApp messaged me back, and the message said like this. So bro, I want to let you know, like, when you Venmo me the money, you have to be very exact in the amount that you Venmo, because I see that you paid a little bit extra, and I don't want you to get involved with this thing like called ribbis, like I don't want there should be a problem of interest between Jews paying extra stuff. So you should know, whatever the amount is, just do the conversion of 220 shekels into the US dollars. Today I think you should look at what it is, $62.84 and cents, and just Venmo the exact amount, because bro, when we get upstairs, like there's stuff, ribbis is a serious thing. I don't want to make any problems with this. Just make sure to Venmo the exact amount. End of voice note. I said, that's the holiest person I ever heard in my life. The guy's dealing drugs. That's not a problem. But to make another Jew pay me more money in ribbis, and like, I can't have that. I can't have that. That's so beautiful. That's the most beautiful thing I've heard in my life. So now I'm saying, I don't think, okay, we'll deal with the drug thing as well. Don't worry, have to deal with that. But that he's thinking about, I don't want to get you in trouble with ribbis, with regards to Chaim. Like, bro, just don't mess around. Just make the exact Venmo amount. So holy. That's what Rebbe Nachman's saying. That's Reish Pei Beis. Reish Pei Beis. So holy. So beautiful. So the Nachman ends right now. All the time finding the Mechaye, and he gets life Mesamech. He finds good and more life. I'm always seeing the good. All the time finding more and more good. When you just find the good, more and more good, as a yochel is spell, then you could daven. And all the time davening to Hashem. We should be Zayach Chaver Mamish only to see the good. Amen. Call to